Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jocelyn Juarez, and throughout my entire life, I've always been given a bunch of different advice from people, and I've always been the type of person to read a bunch of quotes from how to live life, to how to love, to how to deal with friendships in general. And a quote that I read a while back was, "Don't force someone to make time for you. If they really wanted to, they will," by an unknown author. And when I first read this quote, I thought that it meant that if I gave up my time, that the other person would see this and give up their time, when in reality, anybody in a relationship, both people should be giving up the same amount of time. And it wasn't until I went to Dairy Queen with a couple of college friends that I realized this. And with my story, I want to express to everybody that if you have people in your life that aren't making time for you, to find others that will. And in my story, I will first start off with explaining a little bit about my friendships in high school, to my friendships in college, and Dairy Queen, and finally ending up with what I learned from going to Dairy Queen. With my friendships in high school, I had known them for a really long time. We had all known each other since elementary school, but we didn't get really close until we all transferred to the same district for middle school. In the beginning, we were all a big group of girls, but we all ended up breaking off and forming our own little groups in middle school, and it ended up being me and two other girls that stuck together to high school. And during high school, we'd always make plans to hang out after school, but they always ended up canceling on me either day of or even an hour before. And one of them ended up doing home studies during sophomore year, and they promised to keep in contact and that we would hang out, and nothing ever happened. We all ended up breaking off during high school because we weren't dedicating time to each other. And after learning a little bit about my friendships in high school, I would now move on to my friendships in college. I ended up becoming friends with people that I had met my fall year during my solid sports class. It was me and 7 other of my classmates, and we all formed a final group for a final group project in that class. We spent a lot of time together because we were all very passionate about getting a good grade in our class, and we ended up building an airsoft gun in SolidWorks. But when we would meet up, it wasn't always just about working. We all got really close, and we'd always joke around. And even after the class ended, we would always make time to hang out with each other. We went to Knott's, we went to Korean barbecue, we've done a bunch of other stuff that were first time experiences for me. And when spring semester of college came around, I had to take Physics 1510, which was the hardest class I had taken coming into college. And I was really sad because after my first midterm, I ended up getting a really bad score of 38%. And after my midterm, I ended up crying and feeling really disappointed in myself. And I ended up expressing those feelings. And when my second midterm came around, I ended up telling them, and they ended up telling me that they would take me to Dairy Queen after my midterm to help cheer me up. But I didn't think these plans were going to follow through because my midterm was from 7 to 8:30 p.m. and I knew that everybody probably had homework to do and probably had to wake up early the next day. And they didn't text me to confirm that we were still going. But right after my exam ended, I was so nervous, I was shaking. But one of my friends came in and they asked me if I was ready to go, and I said yeah, and I was really excited to go. And once we got there, I had such a great time, and they even ended up paying for my ice cream. And it kind of got all my nervousness about my midterm out of my system. I ended up forgetting about it. And after Dairy Queen, I came to the realization that they didn't just come with me because they wanted ice cream. They made time for me in their busy schedules because they wanted to make sure that I wasn't alone after the second midterm, because they knew how scared I was for it. And even though I told them that I felt like I did bad, they reassured me that even if I did do bad, that I just had to try hard in the next one. And I felt really great after going to Dairy Queen. And I realized that they were just always willing to give up time for me, especially when I was going through an emotional time in my life. And I hope that everybody finds people in their life that are always willing to make time for you, because when someone really loves and cares about you and really values the friendship, they will always be willing to make time no matter how busy they are. And to end everything off, I want to ask people and make people think back to the relationships and friendships that they have, and to see if they're the only ones giving up time or if both parties are giving up the same amount of time together. Thank you.